Hey, my name is Elizabeth and I am an urban homesteader. Welcome to the first video of Bronx Porch Homestead. I am on my porch. This is my home and I reside in Bronx, New York City. Today is cold. It is really cold. It is January of 2022 and this is a new project. I'm excited. I am waiting for spring and I've already started thinking about it and working on it. Come inside and we can talk. Bronx Porch Homestead is back inside, and this time I am surrounded by a bunch of seed packets that I just got and I just unpackaged, and a whole bunch of seed catalogs that I have been going through every single night, late at night. That's actually when I put my seed orders in, is when it's quiet and all the household things that I am responsible for during the day is done. So let's have a serious chat. This is the first video. I am looking forward to a very good year, and this is a project that I am inviting you to come along with. The reason I'm doing this video is because I live in the Bronx for the past 28 years, over 28 years. I've been living in Bedford Park for over 10 years. I am a homeowner. I do own a 3-family house, which I reside in. I have a small garden in the front and a small garden in the back. I've been growing food for the past couple of years. I've had time since I am semi-retired. We've had a pandemic, which also contributed to the time. I've learned a lot. I became a master composter through the New York Botanical Gardens with New York City Compost Project. Most important though, there is a lot going on in my community that I'm sure is going on in a lot of communities throughout the United States, throughout the world, but throughout our boroughs here in New York City. And that's the increase of population and of people needing housing. My own block is going through a geographic transformation, because what it was there before when I purchased this home 10 years ago was a bunch of little houses with small gardens in the front and little backyards. Well, that has changed drastically within the past few years. Those little houses have been purchased and they've been knocked down, and now because of our affordable housing initiative that we now have monstrous buildings on our block that are 8 stories high, probably accommodating maybe around 60 families to 100 per building. So when you think about it, it's a single family home or a 2-family home with 2 families or maybe 3, now being replaced with, on the same square footage, with 60 families. So that's quite intensive for a city block. The air space that used to go in between the houses is gone, because now the buildings that are brand new are literally butt up next to each other. And I'm actually one of the very few houses left on the block. So I'm here because even though we have new families that are coming in, new people that are coming in, which is great, we also are seeing more and more concrete and less green space. A lot of my residents that I have grown to befriend throughout the years, they are in awe with the house that I have because it's very green. We have a lot of greenery coming down from the retaining wall. I have a tree in front of the house. It's a porch house. And then I have another retaining wall as you go up the stairs, where there's hydrangea bushes, there's a lilac bush, there's blueberry bushes. So my friends, my community friends, when they walk past the house, they always look up and they always say that it gives them a good feeling that there's so much environment on the block, at least in this area. So one of the things that I wanted to share with urbanites is that, you can grow food even in the smallest spaces. I do have a tiny front yard. It's not even a yard. It's like a little green space. And I purchased a raised bed from a catalog. And I've been growing tomatoes there. I've been growing peppers there. And in the back, I have actually more space. Now, my entire backyard is not all soil because we live with roommates, we live with other family members, and they too want to be able to use the backyard for their exercises, for their martial arts, whatever it is that they're doing out there, lounging. So I had to be considerate of that. But that didn't stop me from actually getting raised beds and cattle panels so that I can grow food. So I have been growing food for several years. I've been growing lettuces, tomato, peppers, squash, cucumbers, all of the brassicas. I've also educated myself. I went back to school during the pandemic, like I'm sure many people have, if they had the time. I went back to school and I'm finishing a degree that I started with 20 years ago, before life took over, before living life took over, and I had to stop. So now I am taking a degree under environmental studies with a concentration of sustainability management. I'm almost done. I'm like 7 credits away. And throughout the whole time that I've been locked up because of the pandemic, and also because I'm semi-retired, I do a lot of volunteer work out in the community. I am a member of a group that advocates for the environmental health of the parkland that's on Mashalou Parkway. That's where I live by. I live very near there. So we plant trees, we pick up litter, we work with the summer youth program for the 5 weeks and during the summertime, trying to teach them about how important the environment is. We do have some professionals in our group. We do have a teacher, and she teaches physics. That's what she does for a living. We also have a person who has a background in public relations. We have another person who does grants. So we have come a long way for the past several years from planting trees, not just planting trees because it's very important, but from planting trees to also building out edible schoolyard gardens. And we also put a edible garden for public use in the Norwood side of this area, which is right across the street from Mashalou Parkway. So we have Bedford Park, we have Mashalou Parkway, and then we have Norwood. So both communities do meet in the middle. We go back and forth, and I like to think that we're pretty tight. So anyway, for the next year, I would like to create these once a week videos and kind of show you where I'm at when it comes to planting seeds, and hopefully that will inspire other urbanites who may resonate with some of the things that I just said. It's really important that we don't forget where food comes from. We just finished, well, we're still going through this pandemic, but a lot of food insecurity came up. A lot of people who never found themselves at a pantry did. I think one of the stories that I got me thinking was I was watching the news, and I heard a woman talk about how she was waiting online in her car for food boxes, and that's something that she's never done before. However, she also said that it took her 6 months to bring herself to do that. As she was talking, I couldn't help but realize that she was talking from her front yard, and her front yard was a beautiful green landscape. However, there was no food growing on it. So in my head, I'm thinking, wow, I see that there's this gorgeous front yard, and I don't know what the circumstances were in her life. I don't want to judge, but what a good opportunity to have raised beds there and grow food. I mean, you can grow food, you can grow lettuce in 30, 40 days. So I think there is a disconnect between environment and our sustainability. I think we've lost that. I mean, technology is great, but I think the actual getting your hands dirty and putting seeds in pots in the ground, I think we've kind of lost that. So I do want to help the members out in my community and help them plant seeds again. I think that we've lost a lot of houses that people can no longer see gardeners do that. And I think it's a disservice for developers to come into the community and build the apartment buildings, but not build a yard big enough or a courtyard big enough for raised planters to be put there so that tenants in the building can unite and plant something. I think it's important that if a developer is seeing this, video, the next building that you build in an urban city, do think about adding growing space. For one thing, it will add so much value to your tenants. You don't have that revolving door of tenants moving in and out. Gardens, I think, bring people together and keep them there. And that's actually good for everybody. But I also want to bring the joy of gardening to people who own or rent apartments, because you can have a garden. You can grow flowers, you can grow greens, you can grow tomatoes, you can grow peppers. You may not be able to grow avocado, you may not be able to grow mangoes in your zone. I know I cannot do that here. I am in zone 7A. But I can grow the basic stuff, and it's really the basic stuff that we need. So I do look forward to having these chats. I also look forward to bringing you along when I am doing my projects. And I want to thank you for sticking around. There's more to come with Bronx Porch Homestead. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for being here. See you next week. Another thing about these videos is that I am a newbie and I have very limited technical skills. So I am also going to be teaching myself how to vlog, how to edit, how to add, I guess, like some music or something like that. So this is going to be a learning experience for me. Needless to say, I am not getting a camera yet. Let's try this for a year. and I am going to be using my cell phone, which is what I'm using now. And I did order an extender. The extender has a little tripod on the bottom. So that's what I'll be using for vlogging.